Is classified M. It contains some coarse language, sexual references and adult themes. Channel 10 recommends viewing by mature audiences. We also warn you that some viewers may be offended by the opinions in this show. But that's half the fun, isn't it? Good evening, I'm Dicko. Welcome to Can of Worms, the show that urges you to speak now and forever say your piece. Tonight, we'll try to read between the punchlines of racist humour, ask if young women should really be going out dressed like that, and on that subject, Dan Illick, well, he's made a few new friends. Take a look at this.
I like dressing slutty, but I don't want to be a slut. What's the line? How do I...
That's like blood!
To help us sift through these issues as well as scramble through our moral minefield, three very different Australians. First, a 26-year-old born to a Ghanaian father and an Aussie mum. He grew up in Brisbane, idolising Jerry Seinfeld before becoming a comedian and actor. Say hello to Matt Okine.
Thank you. Thanks,
Yeah. In the middle, a 39-year-old who grew up on the beaches of Manly. She's a 7-time surfing world champion and a founder of a charity that helps young women to live out their dreams. Please welcome Layne Beachley. Our third guest is a 66-year-old who's been a Member of Parliament for nearly 4 decades. He's raised 5 children, formed his own political party, fought for the rights of farmers, and lo and behold, once threw eggs at the Beatles. Wave your hats in the air for the Honourable Bob Katter. Finally, my delightful co-host who shall be bringing us all of our Roy Morgan national polls, Meshel, Laurie.
Thank you, Dicko. Thanks, everyone. So many Queenslanders. It's exciting. It's our time, Dicko. The Queenslanders are arising. It's our time. Bob, you look stunning, my darling. Your hair is so much whiter than I thought it would be. And it's a beautiful, even tone. Do you know how much money I've spent, Dicko, trying to get my hair like that?
I know. Well, it makes me think I should have washed mine for this show.
You are cute as a button, Bob Katter.
OK, let's unleash our first big worm of the night. Now, who here amongst us hasn't laughed at a Kiwi joke or a Pommy joke or an Irish joke? Let's face it, when it comes to humour, Australia is on a collision course. On one hand, we're a proudly multicultural nation. On the other, we can't help taking the piss out of each other. Something's got to give. All we want are strong opinions and honest views. There's only one rule, no fence-sitting, and you can start with a yes, no to this. Our first worm of the night. Does telling a racist joke make you a racist? Yes or no? You got 5 seconds. Matt, growing up in Queensland, your father was Ghanaian, would you? You'd have been the butt of some racist jokes at school, wouldn't you?
That is so racist. Can you believe? Why didn't you ask Bob that, mate? I sort of wonder what exactly is racism these days, I guess. Like, a lot of people jump to conclusions straight away about something being racist. You know, like there was an ad on TV last year where a guy gives a bucket of chicken to some black people at the cricket, right? And this thing made headlines around the world being, oh, that's racism, you know, that's racist. Like, that's not racism. It's like if you've got a bucket of chicken on you now, Dicko, and you want to give that to me, if that's racism, race me up, brother. Offend me.
What about when you were at school?
I mean, at school, I bought a joke book, and my favourite section of that joke was the racist joke section, without a shadow of a doubt. Jokes about people from all over the world, I thought they were easily the funniest. What you're laughing at is just that we're all different, and that's something that is funny.
Layne, what about when you were at school? Did you used to tell innocent little racist jokes?
Yes, and I copped a few as well because I was darker than most kids at school because I surfed in bikini my whole life, so I've always had a tan. But, you know, I tell jokes about women. Does that make me sexist? You know, I think it's, as you spoke about, you know, it's part of the Australian culture that we can take the piss out of each other and laugh at ourselves. And if we stop laughing at ourselves, are we becoming an intolerable or an intolerant community? Are we becoming an intolerant society? I think it's important that we maintain our sense of humour about this.
We're rapidly becoming a very restrictive society, and that is very bad indeed. And it's very good for me to hear young people here, you know, expressing a point of view that we should not be a restrictive society.
Matt, how can you defend racist humour and say it's not racist when you don't know who it's offending?
You can't be racist just from saying a joke. It's a belief, you know, it's a state of mind.
It's the emotion behind it, too.
You've got to have intent. I've got, you know, everyone's got friends from different parts of the world, and behind closed doors you can say God knows what sort of stuff that you think is hilarious between you and your mate.
I think common sense has to be taken into account. You know, you've got to understand the audience that you're speaking with and the people that you're surrounded by, and there's an element of understanding that you're not inflicting any harm on any particular person. You're actually just trying to create some humour and make people laugh.
Let me ask you, Bob, what would be an example of an acceptable racist joke?
Dicko, the last 3 jokes I heard, these rotten Kiwis that come over here all the time, they're cracking Australian jokes now.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them quite unsavoury. I mean, the hide of the beggars, you know, send them home, you know.
So you don't think it would be offensive if me, with a Pommy accent, was to make a joke about white Australians?
Look, 99.9% of the time, I find screamingly funny, if they're a funny joke, right? But
can I try one out on you?
Just sometimes, you know, I find that it's a nerve.
Start in the shallows, a white Pom making a joke about white Australians, shall we?
Make one.
So why couldn't Jesus have been born an Aussie?
Why?
Because they couldn't find 3 wise men and a virgin. He's lost it.
See, I don't think that's a racist joke, though.
But the assumption is that you're a bunch of tarts and stupid. Why isn't that racist?
But because you could easily replace the word Australia with any other country and it would still be the same joke. Okay, here's a racist joke. Okay. So, a black guy's walking around in New York City, seeing it for the first time. And all of a sudden, an American walks up to him and goes, "Oh, my God, those are the most beautiful sunglasses I've ever seen." And the black guy looks at the American and goes, "Sunglasses? Mate, these are my nostrils." Right? Yeah, but that's funny, man.
A lot of people would have been offended by that joke, Layne. What did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty funny, but... But I find every racist joke funny.
You're allowed to say... I think you can say it if you're that thing, you know?
And I think, once again, it comes back to the emotion that's behind it, the intent that's meant with it, and the understanding that it's actually meant to be funny. You're not actually ridiculing or trying to hurt somebody with the joke.
I find a lot of our young people that go overseas, they get very angry, particularly with the English, because they feel the English are having a go at them. But I would never get angry because I would just see myself as being, with all due respects to your forebears, as being very superior.
Everybody assumes that jokes about Aussies or Pommies or Irish, they're victimless jokes, if you like. You know, there's no racism at work there. But would you believe Tony Abbott got into a bit of strife recently? He actually told an Irish joke. He said that, did you hear about the Irishman who lost £10 betting on the Grand National and then lost £20 on the action replay? The Irish consulate got in touch with him and demanded an apology. Now, do you think that's oversensitivity, Bob?
If we have got to look over our shoulders, as you said at the start, Dicko, when you crack a joke, then we aren't Australians. Truly, I believe that.
It's a it's a dumb joke. Do you know what I mean? It's about being dumb, though. You could replace Irish with Scottish. I mean, those are the same jokes that you'd say about a blonde.
You've got to understand where it could possibly land. So in the privacy of my own home with friends that I feel confident with and secure with, sure, I would tell the most inappropriate jokes.
So sneaky racism is OK?
Sneaky racism is OK. In my household, yes.
After the break, we'll see what you think on the issue. Look at the use of blackface on Oz TV, plus troublemaker Dan Ilic finds out just how tightly wound we are when it comes to racist jokes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how racist are the following? An Asian, an African and a Maori walk into a bar. Racist.
Monday after the renovators.
This is the question you've been waiting for. And this is the worm that will make Australia squirm.
Can of Worms. Monday after the renovators on 10.
Did you know that every Car City vehicle also gets free 12-month extended warranty, free 12-month roadside assist and the option of LP gas conversion? Why on earth would you go anywhere else? Car City, corner of Great Western Highway and Carlisle Avenue, Minchinbury.
That's the great thing, coming here you can get the smallest of thing at Bunnings and you can make a massive difference in your home.
And people might look back and say, why didn't we do this ages ago?
4-litre Dulux wash and wear paint, $63.90. Compact workbench, $99. The Stillo basin mixer, $29. Parfix gap filler, $198. If you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Get the best look and also get the lowest price.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
This program is brought to you by Coke Zero. It's time to zero in and upload your challenge at cokeunleashed.com.au.
You're back with Can of Worms. We're discussing racist jokes, but what is a racist joke? Have we become so ultra-sensitive that we can't even tell anymore? Dan Ilic took to the streets to conduct a little survey.
I'm from the RACE. I don't know if you've heard of us. We're the Racism and Creative Expression Group.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, and so just doing a quick survey on racist humour. On a scale of 1 to 10, how racist are the following? An Asian, an African and a Maori walk into a bar.
Racist.
I haven't finished the...
Oh, sorry.
The bartender says, when does the show start? The Asian man replies, what do you mean, we're here for a drink?
Well, that's pretty racist.
A Jew and Arab are sitting on a park bench eating lunch.
Yeah,
the Jew asks...
10.
Well, I haven't even...
Oh, no, it just sounded racist.
Straight away. How many Indians does it take to change a light bulb? 2, 1 to change the light bulb and 1 to hold the ladder.
Oh, yeah, definitely. A 20, I'd say, out of 10.
I kind of feel like it should be a 10, but I can't figure out what it is that I'm offended by.
Why is that one racist?
Well, anything to do with Indians is racist.
The ladder part or the changing light bulbs?
Probably the ladder part, well, the ladder and the light bulb, I'd say.
I just don't think it's funny.
What do you call 100 Muslim scientists on the bottom of the ocean? A well-funded marine research project.
9.
9.
Okay. With all the stuff that's going on at the moment, I don't think that's pretty fair go.
They're like scientists on the ocean floor, like sorting out the ocean. So it's still racist. Yeah. OK, cool. What about this one? What do you call an Aboriginal in a Mercedes? Steve Evett.
Sorry, I'm not familiar with that person.
That's just the guy's name who's driving the Mercedes.
Oh, right.
That is a bit racist.
Right, OK.
Absolutely racist. They're all racist.
I could laugh at all these jokes, right, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Dan Ilic messing with Australia's heads yet again. We'll be seeing more of Dan later in the show. But first, let's focus on the question. Does telling a racist joke make you racist? All of our guests have said no, it doesn't. I want to ask you about an incident that happened on Australian television involving blackface. It was on Hey Hey Saturday, about a year and a half ago, and there was uproar and turmoil on the Red Faces segment when, I think we can see a picture of it, 5 doctors decided to do a Jackson 5 takeoff and black their faces up. And the world looked at us and called us racist. Do you think that was out of order, Bob?
I mean, I've got to say, in all honesty, I had some sensitivity. But if you're asking me to pass judgment upon that, that is just ridiculous. That's the opposite of what being an Australian should be, in my opinion. We don't go and passing judgment and saying, oh, geez, they're racist because they painted their faces black. I mean, jeez.
I reckon it was just shit. That's all. That's all it was. These guys just planted some shoe polish onto their faces. They were trying to look like the stereotype of a back in the day when black people weren't allowed to perform, were slaves and stuff.
But that's your impression of it. Let's take it with the face value in which way it's presented. It's presented on red faces where it's not actually a really serious talent show. You go on there to make fun of things, and I agree with Bob, and it's un-Australian if we're going to start picking the eyes out of that.
Why do you think, Layne, why do you think so many people were so unbelievably offended by that?
I have no idea. Tell me, Matt, why were they?
OK, there's no problem with dressing up as a black guy. Chris Lilly does it. You know, John Safran did it. But they did it properly and well. Let's
discuss that. Chris Lilly, of course, plays American rapper Smash, and it's running at the moment on Angry Boys. And there's a bit of a cult figure, but he hasn't attracted anything like the criticism that the Hey Hey blackface. What's the difference, Layne?
Well, according to Matt, it's because he's good at it. But I think the difference is, to me, it almost seems like you see a reflection of yourself in it. And if you're offended by it, then there's something in there that's really striking a chord or really hitting a nerve that's upsetting you, and that's why you'll take offence to it.
He's made quite a few Aboriginal jokes on the series. Now, I was startled because it's the first time on television I've heard an Aboriginal joke. Why is Aboriginal or jokes about Aboriginal such a no-no, Bob?
Yeah, look, I just get very uncomfortable about this sort of conversation. You know,
That's why it's called Can of Worms, Bob.
Yeah. Sometimes they crack that joke because they don't like you racially, right? 99.9% of the time, they're just cracking a joke as a funny joke.
Layne, have you ever told an Aboriginal joke?
Yes, I've told one.
How do you feel it's off limits as humour goes?
I think so.
And why?
I think it's because it comes down to how we've treated them. It's just that understanding and that compassion for the race of people that, you know, the whole...
Guilt.
It is guilt.
That's all it is. It's just guilt. I'll be doing a gig. If you say the word Aboriginal, people will immediately go, oh, my God, I can't laugh at this or anything. They want to be worried. They want to think, oh, God, this is going to go into territory. We can't talk about each other. That's almost worse than just laughing at it.
I want to go to the audience now. Lynn, do you think telling a racist joke makes you a racist?
I think when you say a racist joke and you follow it up by saying, oh, it's just a joke, what you've actually done is you're reinforcing the negative stereotypes that are often carried in racist jokes. And you're almost excusing yourself by saying it's just a joke.
I want to turn to Peter Joy. You've heard the conversation. What's your view?
Well, I've got a little bit of blackfella in me, and there's a difference between observational humour and just being stereotypical and putting a race down. To say, you know, and I'll actually quote an Aboriginal comedian, an Aboriginal person will dance all the way to the dance floor, whereas a white person will walk to the dance floor and then dance. That's just an observation. But to say that, oh, you know, I bought a 3D television and I was watching a documentary on Aboriginals, it was so lifelike. I woke up the next day and my wallet was gone. That's racist. You know,
look, I want to hear from Sam, who's a Lebanese-Australian comedian.
It's all right to make fun of Irish people. It's all right to make fun of Kiwis or Queenslanders or lawyers or whatever. You know, you can't just exclude one group. So we stop making fun of ethnicities. You'll stop making fun of genders. You'll stop making fun of professions. You'll stop making fun. We'll become a humorless society. I think we have to stop being human beings and start being humorous beings. You know.
And okay. Also, hold on. Now, thanks. Now, thank you, Sam. Madam, what's your name?
Marlene. I was born in 1954. I've been subjected to racism, and humour's been very prominent in that respect. You would not want your children to go through what I've been through growing up, and humour has played a major part, the media has played a major part. All these Anglo people are telling me what is racist. I've seen it so many times. Is Australia a racist society? And you never include an Aboriginal people. And the strongest component about racism too is denial. Nobody likes to be confronted by it.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks to our guests. Let's find out what you, Australia, said on this matter. Meshel, the polls.
We asked the nation's leading pollsters, Roy Morgan, to ask you, the nation, does telling a racist joke make you racist? And this is what you reckoned. Does telling a racist joke make you racist? Oh, sorry to say, bust out the boot polish because 68% of you said no. And don't we love telling them? Over 2/3 of us have told an Irish joke, over 2/5 an Aboriginal joke. Really, guys? Really? OK, so is it racist to laugh at a racist joke? Well, that seems fine with over 3/4 saying no. But what are the rules? See, no one knows. Even half the people who said it's not OK to laugh at a racist joke have told a racist joke. And when they do, you just think to yourself, Dad, you're so embarrassing.
Coming up, young women, you better put some clothes on because we are talking about you. But next, our guests go over the top, cut the barbed wire and crawl through our moral minefield. You're with Can of Worms.
They wave to me too, but it's a funny sort of wave, you know.
It's the week we've all been waiting for.
MasterChef's heavy hitters are back to amp up the pressure.
The most testing challenges we've ever had.
Finals week begins Sunday on 10.
Success, it's a journey, not a destination. And progressive drivers are at the forefront in the next generation Audi A6. Driving innovation.
Rivers men's cotton boxers and briefs. Reduced to $2.90 but for 4 days only. You know, cotton is awesome for getting a bit of airflow down there, and these are only $2.90. What also makes Rivers undies pretty special is that they've got wide, comfortable waistbands, and your cuts make sure you keep your plumber's crack to yourself. No one deserves to see that. Rivers men's cotton boxers and briefs. Reduced to $2.90. 4 days only.
Are you 16 years and over? Want to be in the studio audience for 10's new show, Can of Worms? For tickets, email audience@cowzapruder.com.au.
Welcome back to Can of Worms. Time to find out which of our guests is prepared to go commando as we brave our moral minefield. All you guys have got to do is choose a subject, answer the question, and then we'll tell you if your answer is in tune with our recently polled studio audience. OK, you're in the hot seat first, Bob. What are you going to pick?
Money.
If you could get away with paying no tax, would you?
A lot of my friends will tell I'm telling a fibby-wibby now. They really will.
You don't need to put that up every time, mate. So, no, you wouldn't. You like paying tax.
No, I don't like paying tax, but I think we all have got a responsibility to pay some tax.
How about you, Matt?
We're good at helping each other, and I think tax is definitely the best way to do that.
Layne?
I'd love to get away without paying tax. I think that'd be awesome. But,
So Bob said he would carry on paying tax even if he got a free pass. What did our audience say? 68% of our audience said they would pay no tax if they could get away with it.
Yay!
Well, we've got all of your details. Expect a little audit very soon. OK, Layne.
I'm in the hot seat next.
What would you like to pick?
I would like to pick etiquette. Excuse me.
Have you ever put anything in someone else's skip bin?
No, but I've had someone put it in mine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
To give you the shits?
No, not really. It's there. You might as well use it.
Oh.
If I'm sitting at home and I see someone walk past and, like, throw a bottle in my bin, I'm like, hey, that's my bin.
I hire a sniper when I get my skip bin. What about you, Bob? Have you ever put anything in someone else's skip bin?
I've had some moral problems with this, which leads me to believe that I probably have.
What did our audience say? Yes, of course. 67% said yes. OK, you're up next, Matt.
Mouthing off.
Shut up.
You shut up, you dumbhead.
This one was sent to us by Craig Taylor via our Facebook page. Is it OK to wolf whistle at a pretty woman?
No. No.
Why not?
Well, it's just lame. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just stupid and
What
you're
if
a
you were
loser.
a pretty girl and guys fox whistled you? Would it make you feel good about that? Feel good about yourself?
Yeah. Hey, look, it's not OK still. It's not OK.
How about you, Bob? Do you think it's OK for a tradie to wolf whistle at a pretty girl?
You know, I get a lot of people yell out to me, you know, and they wave to me too, but it's a funny sort of wave, you know.
So Matt said it's not OK to wolf whistle a pretty woman. What did our audience say?
No.
Oh, 58% said no.
Oh.
OK, Bob, time for you to pick another category. What are you going to pick?
Rules and regulations.
Oh. Would you take something from a charity bin if you like the look of it?
Definitely not.
What if it was the biggest cowboy hat you'd ever seen? So big.
I could say, honestly, that somebody might be watching.
Matt, by the way you're dressed, you must have. Yeah?
Thanks. Yeah, I probably would. Only because... only if I wanted it. Do you know what I mean? Only if I wanted it. And...
But then do you have, like, that moral argument with yourself when you're standing there? Do I want it? Do I need it? Do I need it? Do I want it? Does someone else need it more than me, or do I want it more than them?
No, just take it and run.
Yeah.
Bob said he would never take anything from a charity bin. What did our audience say? 89% said no.
Whatever. I need it.
OK, Layne.
I'll take taboo.
Is it OK to dress up as Hitler for a fancy dress party?
Oh, I've seen people dress up as Hitler at a fancy dress party.
Is it OK?
Well, if it's in Germany, no. But I think...
Israel?
Israel, no. Anywhere outside of Australia, probably no. But I think in Australia, yes. I think it's OK.
What about you, Matt? Would you dress up as Hitler for a fancy dress party?
Yes, the answer is yes. If you're going to do it at a party that you know the people well and use common sense with it.
What did our audience say?
Oh,
yes!
Brilliant!
You're the one left with sex.
Bring it on.
Is 15 too young to lose your virginity?
I was 15 when I lost my virginity, so I would say no.
Yeah? Yep. Are you happy you lost it at 15?
I was fucking happy then. Tell you that much.
Now, Layne, you muttered something very interesting then. You said depends if it's a man or a woman.
You know, if you're a girl and you lose your virginity when you're 15, then you're a slut. And if you lose it as a man when you're 15, or a boy as a 15, then you're a legend.
Which I am, thank you. Legend.
So...
Bob, I'm desperate to know.
I get some great and funny stories about this, which I hope don't come to light, you know. But no, absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong.
How old were you,
Definitely
Bob?
wrong. I'm not answering any.
So, is 15 too young to lose your virginity? Matt said no, no way. I was 15. What did our audience say? Oh, so you're wrong, and they're right.
I am wrong.
Give them a round of applause. Yeah.
We have another worm coming up, guys. Don't get too relaxed. We have another worm coming up. And did you notice in that moral minefield we used a question from a viewer from Facebook, which is excellent. So there you go. We read them, we like them, we use them. Please give us more. We are Can of Worms TV on Facebook and Twitter, and canofworms.com.au is our website. Get involved. We'd love to know what you think about what's going on and where we should go.
Yes, talk to us, people. Look, we've had the slot walk. It's time now for the slot talk. Raunch culture under the spotlight, next on Can of Worms.
And the reason that we call them Gosford skirts is because if you look at a map of New South Wales, Gosford is just right under the entrance. And that's where the...
The survival of Camelot lies in the hands of Prince Arthur.
We're gonna go down! We'll go down fighting!
Merlin, Sunday on 10.
The Choose Tempur mattress sale on now at Domain. Huge savings and great bonus deals on Tempur. Voted top mattress in Choice survey. The Tempur Original Queen mattress now $17.99. The new Tempur Cloud Queen mattress just $27.99. And the Domain exclusive Crown Queen mattress only $34.99. Plus get 2 bonus Tempur pillows with any Queen or King mattress and the chance to win back the cost of your bed. Don't miss the Choose Tempur mattress sale on now at Domain.
Welcome back. It's time for our second big worm of the night. Now, what do you do when your 16-year-old daughter insists on leaving the house dressed as a pole dancer? Now, the female editor of Fashion Mag, Shop Till You Drop, recently asked, why has it become so hard to tell your average 20-something from your average streetwalker? Is she right, or have we become a nation of prudes? Give us a straight answer to this, our second big worm of the night. Should young women stop dressing so slutty? Yes or no? You've got 5 seconds.
Good on you, Bob.
Don't you have daughters, Bob?
So, well, we'll
wrong one up.
Bob, are you sure?
Bob?
Bob?
So do you think young women should stop dressing so slutty? That's your answer?
I think they should stop dressing
They should
so
stop.
slutty.
Yeah, OK.
Yes.
Fine. OK, so we've got a no from Matt, a yes from Layne, and a definite yes from Bob. OK? You've raised 4 girls, yeah?
Yes.
What were the dress rules in your house for your daughters?
Extremely strict. Conversation between father and daughter Mary Jane. You will not leave this house dressed like that. You wouldn't know what dress is. I said I was considered very, very trendy when I was at university. She said, yeah, and the trouble is you still got the same trend. That's the trouble, you know.
Layne, were you a scantily clad teenage girl?
I prided myself on dressing in a way that was fashionable but not scantily clad. I think, you know, you've got to have some measure of what you can and can't wear, and I'm sick of girls walking around in Gosford skirts. And the reason that we call them Gosford skirts is because if you look at a map of New South Wales, Gosford is just right under the entrance, and that's where the... skirts these days, and it's just uncalled for.
Matt, so you're a red-blooded male. What do you think when you see a girl in a Gosford skirt?
I don't know why you feel the need to wear that little clothing, but I'm not going to stop you wearing from whatever you want. To say that you can't wear too little is the same as, you know, people talking about the burqa is not, you know, is not good because, oh, it's too much. You're covering too much. And then, you know, too little clothing is indecent and too much is a controversy, and I'm just going to walk around with a burqa and my balls out and watch people lose it. People just be like, oh, I don't know how to take this.
You know? Now, Layne, if you've got it, why not flaunt it?
I agree with that, but in the current society, I think you're actually asking for a bit of trouble. I think men these days can't seem to control themselves too well in certain areas, and you've got to understand where you're going. You may be asking for more trouble than other places.
So you're saying they're asking for it?
To an extent, I believe they are. I mean, girls dress to attract the attention of others. And the way you attract it, you've got to be conscious of the kind of attention you want to attract. If you want to attract some sort of negative style of attention, then dress up like a streetwalker, because you've got to understand that's the kind of attention streetwalkers attract. But if you want to attract people that have respect for you, then present yourself with respect for yourself.
I feel the reason why they wear such little stuff is not asking necessarily for trouble, but asking for attention. And they are going to get undesirable attention, unfortunately, that'll come with it. But what I feel is, you know, man, I've seen blokes walk around, you know those guys that wear, like, the tiny little footy stubbies? And they're, like, got a nut hanging out and stuff? You're like, dude, that is not appropriate, bro. But you know, so let's, like, put some shorts on, man.
Shouldn't we be talking about men who think that a woman is asking for it because of what she's wearing, and educating men that, as a friend of mine said earlier, a woman's not asking for it unless she's actually asking for it?
Yeah.
It's not about her skirt
Dicko, we're programmed for this, you know, Matt and I, you know, we're programmed.
What are you programmed for, Bob?
Well, I mean, we're descended from the blokes that said, oh, geez whiz, let's go, you know. We're not descended from the people that were immune to someone walking past them without much clothing on.
Well, you were descended from apes, but I don't see you climbing a tree and picking a banana. I mean, there are certain things you've evolved beyond, aren't there?
No. No? Obviously not.
I've watched those nature studies and they spend a fair bit of time on that sort of thing.
They do, but they're monkeys and you're a man bomb.
All guys, well, most guys, you know, 99.9% of guys understand that it's not a buffet. You know, you can't just take what you want. But there are some animals out there who don't understand that there is a civil way about things.
And that's their problem.
And you're going to, and that's something that we need to constantly address. They're always going to be out there. But, you know, I guess I could walk around with a skirt made of sausages, but I'm going to attract the attention of some dogs. You know? But I've got to be prepared for that.
Is this an epidemic of pornification? Has raunch culture gone mad?
I think we've got to start taking responsibility for our own actions. If we want to go out there and display this kind of behaviour and display ourselves in this kind of way, then accept the consequences of doing that. Personally, I would stop young girls going out dressing in a way that's considered slutty, because I think, considering today's society, they're putting themselves in a bit of trouble.
When you give presents out at Christmas, they're wrapped up. You know, there has to be a certain mystery here.
I hear you.
And I mean,
totally.
It gets you in that mystery.
Totally.
And I think a lot of the young kids, girls these days, don't realise that.
All right. When we return, The Nation Speaks with our Roy Morgan poll. To all the young women watching, you might want to check the length of that hem. You're watching Can of Worms.
I wouldn't want some guy to look at my sister the way that I look at a girl that dressed up.
There some reason that my coffee isn't here? Has she died or something? No. God.
The Devil Wears Prada, Sunday on 10.
Delta Storage, the smart way to relax and keep your life in order. From only $2,490. So why buy ordinary furniture when you can come home to King Furniture? At the winter sale, ends soon.
Teenage girls, the length and breadth of the country, have been saying, oh my God, Can of Worms is so unfair. We're asking, should young women stop dressing so slutty? Layne and Bob say yes, Matt says no. Well, I've got a hypothetical which I'd like you all to answer. Your 16-year-old daughter proudly informs you that the piece of material you've mistaken for a washcloth is actually her new dress, and she's wearing it out with her mates tonight, making merry. You think it makes her look like a hooker. What do? Bob?
Just say no, and say it so definitively that she will be scared to go outside the house dressed like that.
Well, I would use Bob's comment to his daughter, you're not going out dressed like that, young lady. Get back upstairs, get changed, put on something that covers you up, and then you're allowed out.
What would you do if she defied you?
I don't know what I'd do if she defied me. I wouldn't allow her out. I just would ground her and not allow her to go out.
Can we hear from Elizabeth, who's 18?
Hi.
Now, Elizabeth, you've been listening to this conversation, a lot of people older than you. What's your view from the trenches?
Well, I think constantly young women are getting pressure from every outlet that this is attractive and this is what we should be doing. And then we do it and we're persecuted for it. And I think that it doesn't matter if you're 16 or you're 18. I think everyone has the right to dress the way that they want to. And I think we're responsible for our own actions and how we dress, but there's no way in hell that we should be responsible for someone else's negative actions.
Well done. Have you ever looked at another girl dressed in a slutty way and looked down on her?
Yes. Yes. but I've done it too, because I'm an 18-year-old girl and it's what we do, and I don't think there's any reason that we can't express ourselves that way.
Is that your brother next to you?
Yes.
Is it James?
Yeah.
What do you think when you see your sister going out on a date and she's dressed for action?
It's really, really hard to watch her going out in some of the stuff she goes out with. And I mean...
Why?
That's not saying she's a slut, but me as a little brother who's protective of his big sister, it's actually hard to watch her go out, because I knew if I saw a girl go out like that in public, I wouldn't want some guy to look at my sister the way that I look at a girl that dressed in
Where's Helen?
I would like to ask, what is a slut anyway? Like, what does that mean?
Well, I guess the word slut, and the reason why we chose the word slut for this program is because it's bounced front and centre into the vernacular with the slut walk recently.
Yeah, and so I was there.
You were there?
I was there, out and proud as a slut.
Well, why were you on the slut walk?
Because women need to take back what that means. They need to have it as a great expression of being a woman, not a bad thing.
Didn't you bring us an article of clothing, though, that you had worn?
I did,
yeah. Go on, give us a
on.
What did you wear that with?
Not very much.
So you wore nothing under that? No bra, no T-shirt, tank top?
No, nothing.
Scandalous.
I mean, it's turned into now that we're, you know, ashamed of our bodies, you know, that we have to cover up. I mean, you said, oh, no, I didn't have anything on, my nipples are out. It's like, not her nipples. And, you know, those things that we've all got. Oh, my God. You know, it's like, I don't understand. Yeah, but we've turned it into something. We've turned it into a taboo by making it, you know, like pretty much focusing so much on your body is about sex and that's it.
Matt, are you telling me that it's acceptable for a young woman, say 16 years of age, to go down a high street dressed as though she's ready for sex?
Dressed as ready for sex is naked. Naked, maybe with socks on.
Well, we've heard from our guests, we've heard from our fantastic audience. It's time to hear from the nation. Meshel, have you got the poll?
Absolutely. The good people at Roy Morgan, who've asked the nation so many questions forever, have actually asked the nation for us, Dicko. Should young women stop dressing so slutty? And here's what Australia had to say. Should young women stop dressing so slutty? Well, put the girls away, ladies, as more than half of us said yes. Women more likely than men to think cover up.
Despite this, only 39% of us have ever had the olds actually shout out, "You're not going out dressed like that." So what's the go? Does the rise of porn culture sway the way women dress? Nearly 2/5 of us said yes. A lot. Really? Because I just watch them for the acting. So who wants them to cover up the most? Under 25s or over 50s? If you guessed under 25s, give yourself a hand. And then use that hand to give those girls a jacket. Seriously, they will catch their death of cold.
I can't believe the young'uns are the one who are the most judgmental. After the break, we'll hand out our Voice of the People trophy. But next, lock up your daughters, sons and pets as Dan Illick finds out if a man can dress too slutty.
I like dressing slutty, but I don't want to be a slut. What's the line? How do I...
That's like the
Next on 10's Late News, we're at Melbourne Airport where furious Qantas passengers have arrived home after a hell night in Hong Kong. Also, a visiting pageant star is in hiding as protests turn nasty over a child beauty contest. Police shoot a knife-wielding woman saying capsicum spray didn't work. The gun shop owner who helped foil a soldier's violent terror plot against an army base. And the celebrations in the Magnuson home after James the Missile's golden swim. That's next, 10's Late News.
Are we losing our religion? One of our largest faiths is threatened with extinction. The full story on 6:30.
Houdini. Designed around a steel frame so it has endless possibilities. Amazing. From only $1,995. 100% King, up to 50% off at the King Furniture Winter Sale ends soon.
This year, Captain America arrives.
We're in.
I can do this all day. Captain America in 3D, now showing.
Big game? Get Red Rooster's Real Big Deal. A quarter roast chicken, chips, strips, mash and gravy, plus a 600ml Coke. It's real food for the footy.
Don't think twice.
So much has led to this moment. All that's left is to see your houses.
I am so pumped. We get to go and see the houses for the very first time. This is what I'm here for.
A big week of renovators starts Monday on 10. This program is brought to you by Coke Zero. It's time to zero in and upload your challenge at cokeunleashed.com.au.
Your weed can of worms. Aussies want young women to cover up. But what if a man dresses slutty for the evening? Dan Illick dolled himself up for a night to remember.
Dressing slutty seems to work for young girls wanting a bit of action, which begs the question, why have I never done it in my long and disastrous dating career? That is, until tonight. So that's why I'm here in the Gold Coast to see if showing more skin will help me pick up. Because quite frankly, it's only up from here. I'm just trying to show a bit more skin to be a bit more attractive. How much more skin do I need to show?
Fucking none. That's too much.
I like dressing slutty, but I don't want to be a slut. What's the line? How do I...
That's like me.
If your nipples are exposed.
So do you think I can actually own it? Own it? Like, yeah, own it! Like, all of this!
Are you gay?
No, I'm not gay. Wow. That's what the LFOs do, mate. LFOs do. Can you give me some tips? Do I need makeup?
You don't need that. No, you need to get down and you just need to really...
You gotta like scoop it in. You gotta scoop it in. You don't actually touch it. It's all about the mystery.
Guys.
Now all you need to do is wax it, and possibly stuff it, and you're good to go.
We can get some wax strips and we'll wax it for you.
Let's do it.
I didn't have any wax.
Hang on, so what are you going to use then?
I'm going to tape you.
I don't think that's going to work.
Get your arms involved. A little bit of pain is all a bit of gain. Cup it right. Cup it right. Okay, calm down. Let's get into it.
Like that, don't you?
God. So you guys do this every week?
Yeah, we're professional beauty. Imagine having your clit waxed.
I'm sorry, what?
That's epic.
Oh, Danny Nearly coming to a hen's party near you very soon. Viewers have been sending in their ideas for worms and more minefields, and Meshel spent the whole week churning through them. What do you find?
I have this one from Mike Provis. Love. It is it rude to wipe spit off your face during a conversation when the person you're speaking to has accidentally spat on you? It is not your spit. And they're still chatting with you. Is it okay to...
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I don't.
Oh, you don't?
Oh, God, no, I just can't. It feels rude. I'll just keep talking with their spit.
Covered in spit.
Covered in spit sometimes, Dicko, absolutely. I'm too polite. Meshel Taylor has this one. She's also sort of polite. Should I be able to return the neighbour's cat shit after it started in my garden without being abused? I think there's a backstory there somehow, don't you?
I think post it back to them.
Do you think?
Oh, that'll work.
Or return it in kind.
I think you should just shit in their backyard.
That's what I meant.
Keep them coming in because we love your ideas. It's time to award our Voice of the People trophy. And in the last break, we polled our studio audience to find which of you most reflects their view. Now, would you believe, with an approval rating of well past 66%, the Voice of the People award goes to Matt Okine. Please, Bob. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Surprised?
I am. It's very kind of you all. Thank you to have given me this.
To have such low standards. Well done.
Yeah, next time I see a charity bin, I will...
That brings us to the end of the show. Please thank Little Bob, Big Bob, Layne and Matt. Of course, the fantastic Meshel, Laurie.
Thank you, Dicko. Thank all of you for hanging in with us this week for that. We'll be a little bit later tonight, but thank you so much. And next week, you need to know that we're also in a temporarily renovated time slot of 9:45. Please be sure to tell everyone that Can of Worms is on Monday nights, a little bit later at the moment. Also a replay on Friday nights. And don't forget, Can of Worms TV, Facebook and Twitter, canofworms.com.au for all your Can of Worms needs.
Get on it now. Thanks, Meshel. Australia, we really do need to talk, and in 7 days we'll do it all again as we download an in-depth look at pornography. Until then, you've been watching Can of Worms. I'm Dicko. Good night.
Season finale of Merlin.
The survival of Camelot lies in the hands of Prince Arthur.
Arthur has but a handful of men, leaving a mortal army at our disposal.
We're gonna go down! We'll go down fighting!
Merlin on 10.
Tonight, debt drama. Another glitch wipes $50 billion off the Australian share market. Pageant fury, security fears over a child beauty contest as protests turn ugly. And no apology, the government defiant over tough policing on the carbon tax. Hello, I'm Tim Webster. Welcome to 10's Late News. Also tonight, all eyes now on London. James the Missile Magnussen's record-breaking swim. But first tonight, angry Qantas passengers have arrived home after being forced to sleep on an airport floor in Hong Kong. 10's Kate Creedon has more from Melbourne Airport. Kate?
The 341 passengers on board QF30 were exhausted and relieved to finally touch down in Melbourne after a mechanical fault grounded their 747 in Hong Kong. The plane had flown from London and the stopover to refuel was only supposed to take an hour. Instead, they were stranded for almost 12. Many of the passengers were forced to spend the night on the terminal floor because Qantas ground crew were unable to find accommodation while they waited for a replacement flight.
I'm very tired now. I come from Germany and I'm 40 hours on my way.
Extremely tiring, complete lack of information at some point, which is the most frustrating part.
yeah, something needs to be done because that's not good enough.
Meanwhile, a Qantas pilot has been relieved of his duties because he intended to carry out industrial action against the airline. He had notified the company he would not extend his tour of duty if a flight was delayed. It's part of industrial action currently being undertaken by pilots as they try to negotiate for better conditions, but is not expected to affect passengers.